What is going on, Crimson City? My name is Crimson Seabed, and I'd like to welcome you back to week number 3 of the PGL, the Pokemon Global League. We are going up against Sketchy Smeargle and the Seattle Smeargles. If you guys did not check out the team builder for this week's battle, the link will be in the description below. Big shout out to my homie, Sketchy Smeargle. Definitely go check out his channel. Link will be in the description as well, so you can check out his version of the team builder and battle when they are live. If you guys didn't see the team builder, like I said, go check it out because it explains what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it. There are a few cheeky sets, but I do have a lot of good things. And looking at his team, there are a few things right off the bat I'm thankful that that are not on the field. He's bringing the Mienshao, Druddigon, Clefable, Alomomola, Skarmory, and Donphan. I'm bringing the Sableye, Chansey, Mega Sableye, Chansey, Lucario, Zenmo, Darmanitan, Slowbro, and Thundurus T. So, right off the bat, I see no Talonflame, which gives me a great sense of comfort against, for what I want to do with my Zenmo Darmanitan. So ultimately, step 1 is I want Zenmo Darmanitan to work. Step 2, I do want to walk away the W. So if step 1 doesn't work, backup plan is getting Zenmo Darmanitan to activate and to be able to sweep after weakness policy and work up to activate. Mega Sableye here, very physically defensive, especially defensive Chansey. Physically defensive Slowbro for the Talonflame as well, again, which I do not see. We've got Assault Vest Thundurus, max HP, max attack, or special attack, excuse me. And then we have a very offensive, especially offensive Lucario with extreme speed too. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start off this battle. I felt that other than the Clefable as a lead, Mega Sableye was the greatest lead for me. So I am going to lead off with Gemini here. I'm going to be able to get the Mega up. If he decides to go for any hazards, I can bounce him back. He goes straight into Donphan. So I'm going to Mega Evolve here just so I can get that up. I want to go for the knockoff because I don't anticipate him to stay in. I could go for the Will-O-Wisp here, but I felt like knockoff was overall my greatest play here. He actually goes for the player off and misses, which is huge, so I am going to be able to knock off. And that does somewhat of a decent amount of damage for my lack of attack investment. I actually knock off his Assault Vest, so I know he doesn't have Stealth Rocks. So I'm going to hard switch out here because I don't want to take a player off. I'm going to go into Husbando here, physically defensive with the Rocky Helmet. Goes for Fire Fang, maybe predicting Lucario to come in, I'm not sure, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. In fact, it actually does more damage to him, the recoil, than it does to me. So he's going to get that Slowbro out of here. I've got no reason not to stay in. He actually goes out into Rosalina, which is going to be his Alomomola. I actually do switch out because I do want to catch him on the double switch. And I'm going to go out and charge the Thundurus. Alomomola was a very easy switch to predict, so I'm going to go straight into that. I'm actually going to double out. I don't anticipate him to stay in. I'm going to go out into my Chansey here. I don't want to take a Toxic. I can just shrug that off. I can also set up my own Stealth Rocks. He goes for the Protect, I guess, to scout out whatever I want to go for. So he switches out of Rosalina. And he ends up going out into Haley, which is going to be his Clefable. Now, if this is a unaware Clefable, then our Zenmo Darmanitan will not work. However, if this is Magic Guard, we should be able to do some damage to it. He actually withdraws on the Stealth Rock, so not really sure what he wanted to do here, but he does end up going out into Whiplash, which is going to be his Mienshao. And he is going to take the Rocks damage, which is good enough for us to know. I am going to get out of here. Now, if he does end up switching out, and he gains that HP back, we know he's Regenerator. If not, we know he's Reckless. Pairing the two together, I definitely think that he is Regenerated with Alomomola. I go out into my Lucario, hopefully to scare him out, and I switch back out into Gemini, hopefully baiting the high jump kick from the Mienshao, but he actually goes for a Drain Punch, and then he hard switches here, which makes me think that he is choiced in some fashion, and goes back out into Haley, which is the Clefable. I am going to be able to go for a knockoff here. I know I could take any hit from Mienshao if I wanted to. I do end up knocking off the Clefable's leftovers. So outside of what I anticipate to be soft-boiled, he does not have any ways of regenerating HP on this thing, or he could Wish Pass with the Alomomola if he does have it. Goes for a Moonblast here. There's not much he can do to me. Like I said, I'm max HP, max special defense. We see that Moonblast does hardly anything, but unfortunately my special attack is dropped. I'm just going to go for the T-Bolt here. I do want to get damage off on this thing. We see that after the -1, that is not doing anything, but I get the T-Bolt paralysis, and he is fully paralyzed. So I can stay in, I can switch out. I end up opting to switch out of this battle because I do have something to scare him out, which is going to be my Lucario, max specially offensive Lucario with Flash Cannon. He actually reveals the Heal Bell right here, which is huge because now his Clefable is no longer paralyzed, but I do outspeed this thing, unless he is hugely speed invested, which I highly doubt it. With his set so far, he does hard switch out into the Rosalina here, takes the Rocks damage, which is awesome because this thing with its leftovers, I assume, is going to be nasty. I go straight up for the safe play, which was Flash Cannon. We see even at a resisted hit, that does a huge amount of damage, absolutely huge. And I can stay in if I want to because the Skull Burn doesn't really do much to me. I stay in and actually reveal the Psychic against his Alomomola. We see how much that does. That does a tremendous amount of damage with a critical hit. He goes for the Toxic, I guess, predicting the switch. It does not work. Lucario's a steel type. For those of you who don't know why we have Lucario, if you don't watch the team builder, I forgot to say this. We traded Heracross for Lucario, actually. After Heracross's somewhat disappointing performance last week, I did want to trade for a better Pokemon that I felt I was better with, and that being Lucario. So Alomomola goes for the Protect just to get the extra leftovers recovery. Hard switches out to get that Regenerator boost, which is fine by me. Nothing really wants to come into like a Psychic, a Flash Cannon, nothing like that. Actually sends out Skarmory. Skarmory's taking the 12% to rocks. I'm going to be able to go for a Psychic here, and with this damage I can see if it's defensive or especially defensive. We see he's a physically defensive set, it looks like, from that damage that Psychic did. So he gets his leftover recoveries. I am packing the HP Fire for Skarmory. I've got no reason not to. I can take a Brave Bird. I can do whatever. I do just go straight for the HP Fire here, and Skarmory is going to go down. So that is the first Pokemon down, thanks to James the Lucario. Definitely a good pickup on our part, knocking out one Pokemon already. He goes into Judge Dredd here, the Druddigon. Now, I did want to go into Mega Sableye here and go for the Magic Bounce. I predicted the Glare to come through, but I figured my best bet was to go into Slowbro. If he does go for a physically offensive move, I am able to take those, and I am able to get Rocky Helmet damage off. He actually does go for the Glare, which is unfortunate. Mega Sableye would have been the much better play. Goes for the Thunder Fang, and he is going to do somewhat of a decent amount of damage. I mean, it's about 50 or so, but he has taken generous damage from the Rocky Helmet. I break through Paralysis, and I am going to be able to go for a Scald here. Hopefully going to get a burn on this thing. I do get the burn. Scald, the Hex, is in my favor for this match. We do get the burn on this thing. We do nerf its offensive presence, and we are able to start going for that. He actually goes for the Stealth Rock here. I did want to go for the Magic Coat. However, I felt like going for the Slack Off was the better option here, just to get my HP back, just in case. I didn't want to fight Paralysis by any means. If I was able to break through, I wanted to get my HP back. I do have Regenerator, but I did want to also just stay in and kind of slack off the damage this thing had. He withdraws the Druddigon, actually, and he goes out into Haley, which is going to be his Clefable. Now, Clefable is not going to take Stealth Rocks due to the Magic Guard. I did go for another slack off here, just in case he decided to try to attack me one more time, but I'm actually going to hard switch out here into Lucario. I don't believe he has Flamethrower. This is my safest bet going up against this Clefable. Goes for the Heal Bell, and he does get the burn off of the Druddigon. So now, it does have a bit of a more offensive presence to it. He's going to withdraw. He does not want to take an E-Bell Flash Cannon from a modest Lucario, so he goes back out into Rosalina here. Rosalina will take the rocks damage. If I would have went for Psychic here, it would have been a 2-hit KO, but I did want to go for the safe play, and I went for the Flash Cannon here. Flash Cannon is actually going to be a 2-hit KO. It 3-hit KO after Leftovers, Protect, all that fun stuff, but I can start going for Psychics now, and I can definitely get some damage off on this thing. I want to set myself up in a good position here, so I'm going to switch out into Darmanitan, and I want to bait the Scald. I want to bait the Scald very badly, so I'm going to take my 25% to rocks. He actually switches out here. He doesn't go for a Scald, he doesn't go for a Protect, but either way, I do get my Darmanitan in for free, and he goes out into Judge Dredd the Druddigon. Druddigon is going to take 25% to rocks. Now, at this point, I do have a chance on a high roll to kill this thing with Psychic. Unfortunately, I do not get the roll that I need. It lives on a few HP. And he gets an Earthquake off. That's going to be huge, massive damage. Darmanitan's done. Darmanitan's done. I tried. I wanted to. The roll was not in my favor, but the Hex thus far has been in my favor, so I can't be too mad. So, Darmanitan's down. Now I just want to win with as much differential preserved as I can. So I go out into Lucario here. I am able to outspeed, and I can go for a Flash Cannon here. Lucario picking up the second kill of the match. So far, Lucario proving, like I said earlier, proving to be a very impressive Pokemon to pick up. Goes out into Whiplash here. Now, the way he's bringing this in makes me think it's Scarfed. He's seen me switch my moves. It's the only reason he'd bring this thing in. I did reveal Psychic. So I'm going to hard switch out. I don't want to take a high jump kick. My play every time this thing comes out is to go into Mega Sableye. That is the play every single time because I want him to go for a high jump kick and crash. But he goes for the safe play, goes for the U-turn. I'm assuming this thing is Scarf from the damage. I'm assuming like a Jolly Scarf set. He does end up going back, and he is going to go back out into Donnie the Donphan for whatever reason, maybe trying to get one of those play roughs off. Donnie the Donphan does take rocks damage. He can have the Rapid Spin with his Assault Vest. I'm not sure if that is the way he wants to go, but I just go straight out into Slowbro here because I do not want to take a play rough with Mega Sableye. Donphan here predicting the switch into Slowbro, going for the C-Bomb, which is going to be huge damage on my Slowbro. And he's going to go for another C-Bomb again. That's absolutely fine by me. I was going to go for a Scald here. It was the safest play. Unfortunately, though, he does get a crit. The Hex are coming back in Sketchy's favor, and Donphan is taking out the Slowbro with the C-Bomb. I can go back out here into Lucario. Absolutely no problem. I can fire off a huge Psychic. I can fire off a huge Flash Cannon. I am just going to go straight for the Flash Cannon. I do outspeed this thing, and I am going to be able to knock out the Donphan. Lucario with 3 kills already. Lucario picking up half the kills so far this week. He goes out into Alomomola here, and now the Regenerator shenanigans he can play between Alomomola and Mienshao are absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. So I'm going to hard switch out. I am max HP AV. I can take a Scald. I can even take an Ice Beam. I unfortunately do take 25% to rocks. He goes for the Protect, trying to get the lefty's recovery. Absolutely fine by me, because that does give me a pseudo-free switch into my Thundurus here. He's going to withdraw. He does not want to take a max special attack T-Bolt from this thing. He's going to go out into Haley. Haley is going to come out. Haley's at like 2/3 of his health. Haley, the male Clefable. But Thunderbolt is a clean 2-hit KO. Thundurus picking up his first kill of the match so far. Definitely a great Pokemon to use in the League format, Thundurus Therian. So he's going to go back out in the Whiplash here again. Scarf Mienshao at this point is confirmed. He does take the rocks damage. He does have the Regenerator. I don't want to take that. My play every single time actually is to go out into Thick, because I feel like he's just going to U-turn. He can go for a Drain Punch if he wants to. I can take a Drain Punch. He actually goes for the Rock Slide, revealing he does have coverage for the Thundurus. He does not want to risk the chance of the Stone Edge, but he can go for flinches. He's going to go for another Rock Slide here. I don't have Soft Boiled Chansey. I have Wish Chansey, because I can pass a huge amount of HP to anything that I want to here, and it doesn't get the HP back that the Pokemon switching in gets. It gets the HP back that Chansey would have gotten. So 325 HP, you're getting 50% of that HP back. So if you're a low-level Pokemon like Thundurus, you can take those. You can take those. So I am going to get out of here with Chansey. I am going to be able to successfully Wish Pass to the Lucario right here. It was my safest play overall, because I am able to take Rock Slides from the Mienshao. I am able to do tremendous damage to that. Lucario's back up to full, although Lucario was not that damaged to begin with. Rosalina is going to get her Leftovers Recovery. His Leftovers Recovery, I keep saying her, but it's a guy. So I'm going to be able to go for a Psychic here. I'm going to be able to scout out what kind of set this thing is. He goes for the Wish. So at this point, we've seen Toxic, Wish, Scald, and Protect. So, I don't know if he's revealed the Scald yet, but he does have the Scald, fun fact. So, Toxic, Wish, Scald, Protect, Stally kind of a Alomomola, which is fine by me. I can just keep going for Psychics here. He can go for the Wish. Psychic, unfortunately, is not doing 50%. However, I do have the 10% chance to drop the Special Defense. He reveals the Scald right here, actually. He does not get the burn, but he does, fortunately enough, get the Wish back to his Alomomola. So now I'm at kind of a gridlock right here. I've got 2 Regenerator Mons that I kind of need to play around. A Wish-passing Regenerator Mon, and then another physically offensive Regenerator Mon. So he actually does have me kind of locked into a set where eventually between Psychic and Flash Cannon I will get a Special Defense drop, and I will start to be able to get the damage that I need to whittle this thing down, unless he switches. And if he does switch, I can just go for a Psychic on the Mienshao. So he Protects here to get that lefty's recovery, absolutely fine. I'm going to keep going for Psychic. Like I said, I want to push for those Special Defense drops, because that will put me in a position where I need to wear the ball. The ball is still in my court, but I need the ball to be fully in my court, if that alliteration makes any sense. So I'm going to switch out of the Lucario here. I don't want to play any sort of Wish Stall Protect shenanigans. I do go into Chansey here. I'm going to take a little bit of damage to rocks. I can take Scalds. I can shrug off Toxics as well. And he actually is going to go for another Wish here just to be safe. Like I said, playing the safe game is fine. He is playing for the W. Completely playing for the timer, playing for whatever way you want to is a valid way to win a league match, in my opinion. So, gonna go for a Scald here against the Chansey. I'm seriously gonna shrug that off. That does 13 damage. He does get the burn, which is unfortunate for him. So I do set up the Wish here. I can start going for Seismic Tosses as well, because that'll do 50 damage to the Alomomola. It'll also do 50 damage to the the Mienshao as well. He withdraws here, because if he would have gotten, he withdraws here. He does not want to take any sort of thing. He wants to set himself up in an offensive stance. He switches out in the Mienshao. I'm just going to go for the Seismic Toss here. The Wish is going to be tremendous amount of HP back. Like I said, that's doing almost 30% to the Mienshao. So I do get the Wish back. Awesome. I unfortunately do take burn damage, but because I'm Natural Cure, I can switch out the Chansey and shrug off that burn like it's no problem. I do withdraw. I do want him to go for the Fighting type move. I do want him to go for that high jump kick if he does carry it. I'm going to switch back out to Mega Sableye here. And the Mienshao is going to go for the U-turn. So I could have stayed in with the Chansey, would have been fine. Could have set up another Wish and set up a Wish Pass early on. But he does get the crit U-turn on me, which is super unfortunate. But it is what it is. And he's going to go back out into the Alomomola here, playing his Regenerator Core very, very carefully. And you can say whatever you want to. He is playing with this Regenerator Core to his advantage. It's definitely good, because as of right now, I don't have a Mon that can outspeed Scarf Mienshao. I don't. I have got kind of checks to it, but I don't have it. So he goes for the Scald. I go for the Recover here just in case. I want to bring my walls back up to their max HP, the most HP I can possibly bring them to. I eventually want to knock off this Alomamola's leftovers, because that does kind of take down the recovery properties that it does have. So he does set up a Wish here, whatever I want to go for. Absolutely fine by me. I can recover here, get the rest of my HP back, which is exactly what I'm going to do. There's no sense in going for the knockoff when he is going for the Wish. I do want to definitely get my Mega Sableye back up to full health. So he does go back out into the Mienshao. Now here is an opportunity that I think is awesome. He takes the Rocks damage, and I am able to go for the knockoff. And I knock off this thing's Scarf, which is unfortunate because I do knock off I knock off the Scarf. He does get the Wish from Alomomola, so he's back at full health. Now he has the option to switch his moves. He reveals the Poison Jab, trying to get the poison on me, try to whittle down my Mega Sableye, which is unfortunate because he does get the poison, which is super unfortunate because now he can whittle down my walls. I can go for another knockoff here, predicting the switch into Alomomola, but I'm still doing some damage on this thing. I am going to take poison damage right here. He can go for the Drain Punch. I'm not really sure if he was predicting a switch right there, but I can go for the Nightshade as well. So I can start getting some more damage off on this thing. I can kind of bait him to go back out into Alomomola so I can get the so I can knock off those leftovers. So he's going to go for the Rock Slide here. Super unfortunate. I'm hoping he doesn't flinch poison me to death, but he does go for the Rock Slide here. That puts me down at about half. He gets the crit. I still am going for the knockoff. It's my safest play. I'm waiting for that Alomomola switch in. He can't stay in for too much longer without switching to that regenerator. So I go for the poison damage here. He goes for the Rock Slide now. I go for Recover here because I will live a Rock Slide from this thing. Unfortunately, he does get the flinch on the Rock Slide. The poison will take out my Mega Sableye. So I am left with Lucario, I'm left with Chansey, and I am left with Thundurus. So I got to kind of play my offense carefully, especially with my special threats being... with my specially offensive Pokemon being weak to the Stealth Rocks he does have up. I go onto my Lucario here. He doesn't U-turn for some reason. He knows he's faster than me if he's a Jolly set. But he does go back onto Rosalina. It was the safest play here. I am going to reveal the Extreme Speed because I could take it out if he was staying in, but he does switch out. So now I've revealed my entire set to him. So it's up to him. The ball is in his court now, how he chooses to use this information. I do have the Psychic on the Thundurus for the Mienshao, although it is not living its Evolve. I do have that there just in case. I do bring out the Chansey now because Chansey pretty much 1v1s the Alomomola. He goes for the Scald here. He's, like I said, like he did earlier, he's going to do very negligible damage. Chansey with Eviolite, definitely one of my favorite especially defensive balls in the League format. He's going to set up his Wish. I can set up my Wish. I can go for a Seismic Toss. I can do a lot of things in the situation that he's got me backed into. I'm going to Wish, because right now I can Wish Pass into my Thundurus. And like I said earlier with the Wish health percentage from Chansey, Thundurus comes in, takes 25% to Rocks, then gains half of Chansey's HP back, which is going to bring Thundurus back up to full. So he actually withdraws the Alomomola after setting up the Wish, goes back out to Mienshao to hopefully put himself into a situation where he can be back on the offensive presence again, because it's kind of been a back and forth game of offensive pressure. I've been trying to lay the pressure on him. I am going to switch out and I'm going to go into Thundurus, clean switching into Thundurus. I do take 25% to Rocks. His Wish activates first because he is a faster Pokemon overall, but the good news for me is that I gain all of that yum HP back from Chansey. He goes for the Rock Slide here. It is not Stab, it is not Adamant, it is not Banded. I am able to take a Rock Slide from that thing, and I am able to go for the Psychic. If he would have flinched me, we would have played the Wish shenanigans again. But I do go for the Psychic here. I am able to knock out the Mienshao, and this does put the ball back in my court because he goes into the Alomomola. Alomomola cannot do anything to a max special attack AV Thundurus. I'm just going to click Thunderbolt here. We're going to watch that Alomomola's HP drop, and that is going to be the first W of the season for the Detroit Steel Wings. We are winning 3-0 against the Seattle Smeargles and Sketchy Smeargles. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this battle. If you have, be sure to leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought. Next week, I believe we are playing True-X Norseman and the Boston Silk Scarves. I could be wrong, but regardless, I will have a team builder and battle up for that video next week. So I want to remind you guys, be great, do great, and I will talk to you all soon. Later.